We'll show you how 40 members of the PSU blockaded the entrance of the PGIA today. And we'll tell you why BEL is reporting a major multi-million-dollar loss for last year. Also, Agriculture Minister Jose Mai says it's the worst of times for sugar. He explains what's being done to save the industry. Plus, what would you do if you reported to work every day for years, but your boss refused to give you work? Well, that's what the former PSU president says has been happening to him at the audit department. Tonight, he explains why. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indira Craig.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Welcome to Atlantic Online. In this step-by-step video, we will show you how to unlock your user. Click Unlock User on the personal login page. Enter your username, then click Send OTP. You will receive a 6-digit one-time password, OTP, via email and SMS. The OTP is valid for 5 minutes. Do not share this OTP with anyone. Enter the OTP, then click Unlock. If you did not receive the OTP, click Resend OTP. And if you still do not receive the OTP, please visit your nearest branch. Your account has now been unlocked successfully, and you can now log in. For more step-by-step videos, view our Atlantic Online playlist on YouTube to learn how to perform your banking transactions. Bank your way with any of our digital channels and save time for what matters most.
Measles is a virus that is highly infectious and spreads through the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. It often starts with a fever, cough, runny nose, and red, watery eyes, followed by a rash that spreads all over the body. Measles can cause serious complications. But here's the good news. Measles is preventable. The safest and most effective way to protect your child is through vaccination. The MMR vaccine is safe and available at your nearest health centers and clinics. Let's keep our families and communities safe. Get vaccinated. Stay protected. Brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness in partnership with PAHO and UNICEF.
These charter means aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Sherry Kelso, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indira Craig.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
This is the agenda of the union leaders and the UDP.
If we will not, comrades, disrupt and create impact, we will be wasting our time. And so every action that we take, the first action is to let the tourists there know we're not being treated fairly. And that will go international. And that is the kind of impact that we have to have. If Thursday we engage in a massive motorcade into the airport, out to the press conference, then that has to be disruptive as well to the flow of traffic into the airport.
They don't want to negotiate. They want to disrupt. In a negotiation, people win. But disruption costs everybody, and nobody wins. Beware of false agendas and snakes in the union and the UDP.
Why is the mayor stuttering so much?
I'm not quite clear on.
And is this a sweetheart deal in the most literal sense?
But I don't know the particulars if it's a female and where she works.
Imagine a nurse closely connected to a city councillor hired for a lucrative paint job inside City Hall and Traffic Department building at a hefty price of almost $200,000. To Bernard Wagner, this is no big deal.
Pretty small. It's pretty small cost.
But to city residents who pay municipal taxes and to taxpayers in general who foot the council's generous subvention from government, it's a massive rip-off.
Listen to me, this is the City Hall. This is the City Hall.
In Belize, change isn't just coming, it's already here. When people have tools, knowledge, and power, they build the future they want. This is what a game-changing partnership looks like. Equal, lasting, and led by the next generation. From greener choices to inclusive growth and innovation, Belize and the European Union are shaping tomorrow together. Every action, every voice, every breakthrough, it's all a part of the same story. Game changers, empowering the future. Follow the EU in Belize to discover the game changers.
Belize Electricity Limited is pleased to announce the holding of its 2024 annual general meeting at the BEL corporate headquarters on 2.5 miles Philip Golson Highway, Belize de Belize at 3 p.m. on Thursday, June 19, 2025. For registration purposes, shareholders are advised to bring along a valid identification, such as a social security card. Shareholders who are unable to attend may choose, and we encourage you to exercise this right, to appoint your proxy, or you can simply appoint the company's CEO or the corporate secretary as your proxy to represent you at the AGM. Proxy forms can be submitted at the BEL corporate headquarters on 2.5 miles Philip Wilson Highway or via email at shares@bel.com.bz no later than 5 p.m. on June 17, 2025. For more information or assistance, contact BEL's Securities Officer at 227-0954, extension 1512.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Tune into a special edition of Uncut on June 19, live from the University of Belize. I'll be talking to the foremost authority on Belize's economic history, author Victor Bulmer Thomas. I'll be talking with him about Belize, navigating a path in the age of Donald Trump. You can come and see it live at the Jaguar Auditorium at UB or tune into Channel 7 or any of our live streams. Uncut is back June 19th. Join us.
Hi,
Hi, have you heard about the expungement of criminal records? Well, as of August 1st, 2024, the Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Act allows for you to apply to have certain criminal charges permanently erased from your record. Isn't that amazing? So, what makes you eligible to apply for expungement? The offense must qualify for expungement based on Schedule 2 and 3 of the law. You must meet the applicable rehabilitation period. This is the time period you must wait before you can apply. The applicant must not have any outstanding matters or have had any other convictions during the rehabilitation period. You can qualify for automatic expungement for certain first-time drug offenses, as well as COVID-related offenses. So, what are the benefits of expungement? Well, it broadens employment and educational opportunities that a criminal record would normally hinder. It gives you a peace of mind, away from the stigma of having a criminal conviction, and provides you with access to services that may be otherwise restricted. If you have a past criminal conviction, here's what you can do to get it expunged. First, verify if you qualify for expungement. Then, prepare the application package. Each package consists of 2 forms. Applications are available countrywide. You then make a non-refundable payment of $100 at your nearest Treasury Department and finally submit the package and payment receipt to any Ministry of Human Development office countrywide. Note, applicants will receive a notification within 90 days to see if their application was approved or denied. So, if you are interested, visit any Human Development office countrywide, any magistrate court, or the Ministry of Home Affairs office in Belmopan. For more information, you can call 227-2716 or you can WhatsApp 613-0343.
Tune into a special edition of Uncut on June 19, live from the University of Belize. I'll be talking to the foremost authority on Belize's economic history, author Victor Bulmer Thomas. I'll be talking with him about Belize navigating a path in the age of Donald Trump. You can come and see it live at the Jaguar Auditorium at UB or tune into Channel 7 or any of our live streams. Uncut is back June 19th. Join us.
In an emergency, people may try to take advantage of a person at risk, including children and women. Avoid this from happening to your family members by practicing the following. Be aware of strangers offering to take your children away and promising to help you or your family. These offers are not always genuine, and a child could be at risk of violence, exploitation, or abuse. Make every effort to let your children know that they can tell you if something happens to them, and it doesn't matter who the person is, that you will listen and report it. Talk to your children and let them know that they should ask for help immediately if someone tries to touch them in an inappropriate way or make them feel uncomfortable. Report any negative behavior or conduct by anyone. By following these tips, you can ensure the safety of your family.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Tonight, the joint unions may be celebrating a rare victory in creating another effective public disruption and escalating pressure on the government to give them a 0.5% raise. 2 weeks ago, it was the Stann Creek branch of the PNTU blocking all traffic in and out of Dangriga. And today, it was the PSU, which went much higher on the tree to snag a choice fruit. For 17 minutes, they disrupted the flow of traffic into the international airport. Jules Vasquez was there.
From before travelers got to the airport today, they could sense the heavy police presence from the roundabout half-mile away to the arrivals gate. The cops were strong and numerous. They even had the tow truck ready. But all their presence couldn't stop this from happening. Dean Flowers and his union comrades were barred entry from the airport. And that's when things started to turn.
Young man, I need to park, but I need to pick up my people. Don't buy or make a park, yeah?
So you're being barred entry from the airport?
Yes, something is wrong with this government, man. Something is wrong with this government. How comes as a citizen I can't come pick up my people now when they come in?
Because they have been informed that you plan to come here to create a disruption.
Disruption?
Yes,
I don't even know what that disruption is.
So, does the union plan to protest here today?
The union does not plan to do anything here
But
today.
you have protesters in at the parking lot, Dean.
Me? Jules?
I see they have on yellow shirt, they have the sign.
I was requested to do some office visit at the PGIA. I am carrying out my legal responsibility as president of this union.
You feel that you're being barred entry from a public space?
Of course. And this gate doesn't mean this is public access. People are allowed to go in and out here to do what the airport is here for.
But it's also an airport, and they have to meet security standards.
No, correct.
You can't do a protest at an airport.
We are not protesting. We are being restricted from driving.
You have a protest sign, Senator.
I walk. I can walk any part of this country with their sign.
Meanwhile, union reinforcements had already assembled in the parking lot and had their placards ready.
Now we start to harass the trade unionists. It's important for Belize to recognize that we don't have freedom of speech anymore. We don't have freedom of expression. We don't have freedom of congregating. It's important for you to recognize that now you're starting to harass the trade unionists. Sooner or later, they might start harass Jews. So what do we do now? We have to stand up for all the things that are going wrong in our country. And this is one way. We might not be many, but numbers are called.
But they had the numbers to do what we had not seen before, form a blockade at the entrance to the airport as they slid into position. And within a minute, there they were, fully blocking the entrance to the airport. Only about 40 of them, but effectively spread out. This is the frontline visibility they wanted. And they used this as an excuse that the airport authority had clamped 2 union vehicles.
They stop me, and they lock my vehicle. I don't know whose instructions. Either the officer in charge, I need my vehicle, Mr. Raymond. I'm communicating with the person in charge of this. It would appear that the concession company more powerful than the police department. That's the way you appear, because how can Mr. Raimundo not command these officers to do their damn job?
And that is when tourists had to start walking in, one by one, and then by the busload. A minor inconvenience, but a major way for this union to send its message with maximum effect, tainting the sacred tourism product.
It's disruptive, but I understand the cause, so hopefully there can be a peaceful resolution to this one.
But the police seems to have gotten the airport to agree to remove the clamps, which didn't stop Flowers, who milked a few more minutes out of this rare moment of an effective national disruption.
Yes, I've been informed that the vehicles, because I noticed they locked how much vehicles?
3.
3, and Jews' vehicles get locked. Jews, you're a part of the protest. It is important that the government understand that the PGIA will be our new stamping grounds. We will return here. The right here, so all the excitement will happen until justice is served and public officers are given what they are due.
After 15 minutes, Flowers' pickup was unclamped and free to move off. Shortly after, the union retreated from its position, which it had held for 17 minutes, causing a noted disruption for travelers and perhaps an embarrassment for the government. They went to sing the anthem closer to the arrival's gate and got the attention of this visitor.
Oh, good for them. Good for them. We see it at home all the time, so, they're using their voice. Good for them.
So you don't feel like it's a disruption?
No.
And they say this is not the end for the union at the airport.
Tomorrow we return. We have our visit with the Customs, Immigration and Baja officers, and it is up to them to decide how they will treat with us.
Now, the joint unions are responding to what Minister of State for Finance, Chris Coy, put in the government's most recent counter-proposal to them on June 5th. In that letter, he offered a 4% increase with effect from October 1st of 2025, an additional increment at the start of the fiscal year 2026 to 2027, and a further salary increase of 4.5% together with a second increment to be phased in over the following 2 fiscal years. To that, he added, quote, "The public finances are not in a position to enable it to accede to a request for an 8.5% salary and pension increase in the current fiscal year. This would mean an additional cost of almost $60 million per annum in perpetuity." Today, speaking at another event, he related to the press that's the maximum ceiling of what government can afford.
Well, I think that's a decision for the cabinet and prime minister, but ultimately we can only do what we can afford. So the finances, reviewing the finances, looking at what makes economic sense, what makes financial sense, not just for today, but for tomorrow and further into the future, is what we have to have account of before any adjustments can be made. What is clear is that we can afford what was proposed in the second proposal.
But the joint unions say it's not so much what Coy said in that last letter, it's also how he said it. They felt that tying pension reform into the negotiations at this stage was an act of bad faith. Here's how he responded.
I'm not sure about the tone. What I would say is we've had one meeting between the Cabinet Subcommittee for Union Consultation and the Joint Unions Negotiating Team, and that meeting was very cordial. We had high expectations coming out of that meeting. It is unfortunate that that meeting did not yield an agreement, but there was every effort made in that meeting to reach something that was reasonable, satisfactory, and affordable.
What about the argument that they've made, though, that pension discussion started way before the request of a salary increase? So the fact that it's being tied now to the salary increase being made contingent to that, they're opposed to that.
I'm not sure about the logic on that one, because if that's the case, then maybe the pension should have been introduced first. But that's why there is an interest in getting the pension reform done. I think what the letter speaks to is a process similar like what is proposed on the salary increase. What is, I think, needs to be clarified is that the government agreed to the entirety of the salary increase, the full 8.5%. The government fully agreed to the 8.5% salary increase, just that it be introduced in a phased manner, in a way that the government or the fiscal finances can afford. So it's not that there is any effort to try and not reach some resolution. There is, but and in largely in terms that has been requested, but it can only be done in a way that we can afford.
Coy's letter states that the proposed increments are contingent upon the joint union's acceptance that pension reform be implemented in 2 phases, with a contributory pension scheme implemented for new workers, including the increase of retirement age to 60 with effect from October 1st, 2025, and contributory pension scheme implemented for existing workers at the earliest possibility. That caused the unions to bristle, since pension reform has been an ongoing discussion, and making it a requirement now, well, seemed like an act of bad faith. Coy acknowledged the ongoing conversation.
I think the pension reform propositions, that's been on the table, that's been ongoing, a part of the ongoing discussions between the government and the joint unions for a couple of years now. There's been quite a bit of analysis. But what is absolutely clear, certainly what I've seen, is there has been miscommunication, if not misinformation, being provided to the public by the joint unions so far as what the reform proposals constitute. There is no proposition that all existing public officers and teachers will immediately have to pay 5% contribution. That's totally inaccurate. What is in fact the case and what is being put on as the proposition is an incremental move from non-contributory to a contributory pension plan. There is no non-contributory pension plan for public officers in the entirety of the Caribbean and Latin America. It's a total anomaly that it continues to exist in Belize. But at the same time, I think the government recognizes that it has to be a process. There has to be a process, both in relation to contribution rate, in relation to retirement age, and in relation to the replacement rate. In relation to the contribution rate, through the analysis done by both the SSB actuary and the IMF, is that a contribution pension or a contributor pension scheme be introduced in an incremental way over a period of 10 years, with a 0.5% increment being introduced each year until you reach the 5% at the end of 10 years.
Now, the joint unions were supposed to meet with government's negotiating team today to discuss all this, but the meeting was postponed. Koi says it's looking like next week.
I think that meeting actually had to do with the collective bargaining agreement framework. So the view is that the matter between the unions and the government in relation to salary increase should be resolved, and then we move forward into the collective bargaining agreement discussions. The subcommittee meets with the instructions of Cabinet. Cabinet is likely to meet on Tuesday upcoming next week, and once that meeting is held, I'm sure that Cabinet will give marching orders to the subcommittee, and a meeting will probably follow from that.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll tell you what BL made a major loss in the last financial year. And Agriculture Minister Jose Mai, he's not the minister of the sugar industry, but he's leading the charge to save it. He'll tell us how. Don't go away.
Tune into a special edition of Uncut on June 19, live from the University of Belize. I'll be talking to the foremost authority on Belize's economic history, author Victor Bulmer Thomas. I'll be talking with him about Belize, navigating a path in the age of Donald Trump. You can come and see it live at the Jaguar Auditorium at UB, or tune into Channel 7 or any of our live streams. Uncut is back June 19th. Join us.
Prime Minister John Briceño, you are the Minister of Civil Aviation. Under your watch, 2 dirty airport security contracts of $28.5 million were given to cronies who provided no security. 15 passengers almost got killed by a hijacker because no security was in place. You refuse to face the people to answer for this. Under pressure, the board you appointed has cancelled the contracts. But you still have to tell us how you will get back the $750,000 advance given to your friend Ian Cal and his company iSecurity, for which they did nothing. Millions wasted in crony contracts, but the teachers can't get paid.
Scandalous.
The mother of all negotiations that take place BTL is looking at this as an opportunity. We pay for the elimination of competition, so we're willing to pay beyond asset value. That's what they put in the release.
I'm saying that it doesn't make business sense to buy your competition if your competition is losing money. Just let them bleed out. The great Jaime Briceño has a vested interest. That's also the brother of the Prime Minister.
This don't look good. This look like economic incest.
There are multiple conflicts of interest or related party issues here. The Briceño business empire would gain substantially. We're talking tens of millions of dollars. The good Mark Lizarraga is the brother of Pete Lizarraga, Next Gen.
Economic incest.
It would be scandalous.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's near you and get 19 to 25% off selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie power tools, Charbroil barbecue grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, 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 oh.
Here's how to access your contribution history on the My Social Security portal. First, go to your browser and type ssbportal.org.bz. Enter your email and password, then click Log In. Once logged in, you'll see your full portal account on the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a drop-down menu for added features. Click on History, choose Contributions, read the disclaimer, then click Continue. You'll now see a full window displaying your contribution history. In the table, each row represents a different year. For example, let's look at the year 2024. Click on the row and a detailed breakdown will appear. This breakdown includes your employer's name, your earnings for each month and week, contribution type, the amounts paid, and that's how you can explore the new contribution feature on the My Social Security portal. It's quick, easy, and keeps your Social Security information right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
From humble beginnings to the nation's #1 poultry provider, join Quality Poultry Products as we celebrate the journey with a grand motorcade through the Old Capitol. This Saturday, June 21st at 9 a.m., there will be music, giveaways, and fun for the entire family all along the route. We start at Coney Drive, Princess Margaret Drive, and across the Belcan Bridge, straight down Central American Boulevard, down Mahogany Street, then going left into Western Avenue, another left into George Price Highway by Lord Ridge, up to the Hand Monument by Twins Gas Station, then turning right into Central American Boulevard, down Cesar Ridge Road, over Yabra Bridge, East Colette Canal, then all the way down Vernon Street by Fish Market Bridge, down Vernon Street right into Youth for the Future Drive, over Bell China Bridge, and finally landing at the foot of the bridge beside Quality Poultry Products North Front Street branch. Come out, Belize, and celebrate 50 years of quality.
Tune into a special edition of Uncut on June 19, live from the University of Belize. I'll be talking to the foremost authority on Belize's economic history, author Victor Bulmer Thomas. I'll be talking with him about Belize, navigating a path in the age of Donald Trump. You can come and see it live at the Jaguar Auditorium at UB, or tune into Channel 7 or any of our live streams. Uncut is back June 19th. Join us.
Look at this. 2 days after holding a secret meeting, the UDP is calling a press conference. On the same day, union leaders are planning civil unrest.
If we will not, comrades, disrupt and create impact, we will be wasting our time. And so every action that we take, the first action is to let the tourists there know we're not being treated fairly. And that will go international. And that is the kind of impact that we have to have. If Thursday we engage in a massive motorcade into the airport, out to the press conference, then that has to be disruptive as well to the flow of traffic into the airport.
This is all about politics and power. This isn't about teachers and public officers. In a negotiation, the people win, but disruption costs everybody, and nobody wins. Beware of snakes and false agendas.
However you travel, you're home. Book now and save 50% only at Naya.
The countdown is on. The Miss Universe Belize Foundation Limited proudly presents the 2025 Miss Universe Belize pageant at the Belize Civic Center on June 28th. You can also catch it live on the national channel. VIP, reserve, and general admission tickets are available via DigiWallet and at any Cellular World outlet across the country. Want the ultimate pageant experience? Secure your Ultra VIP table now by emailing mubelizeinfo@gmail.com. You can also call or message us at 670-8786. The Miss Universe Belize National Pageant. Doors open at 6:30 p.m., red carpet rolls out at 7 p.m., and the show begins at 8 p.m. sharp. Miss Universe Belize 2025, crowning confidence, inspiring change, the power in her voice.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
These charter mints aren't from
We're
an
navigating
airplane.
along the coastline.
This morning, the
Northern
2023 in the...
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Sheree Kelso, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight.
We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Tune into a special edition of Uncut on June 19, live from the University of Belize. I'll be talking to the foremost authority on Belize's economic history, author Victor Bulmer Thomas. I'll be talking with him about Belize, navigating a path in the age of Donald Trump. You can come and see it live at the Jaguar Auditorium at UB or tune into Channel 7 or any of our live streams. Uncut is back June 19th. Join us.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Tune into a special edition of Uncut on June 19, live from the University of Belize. I'll be talking to the foremost authority on Belize's economic history, author Victor Bulmer Thomas. I'll be talking with him about Belize, navigating a path in the age of Donald Trump. You can come and see it live at the Jaguar Auditorium at UB or tune into Channel 7 or any of our live streams. Uncut is back June 19th. Join us.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
BEL has its annual general meeting every year in June. That's where they report on the company's performance to shareholders. And this year the news is not good. In the last fiscal year ending December 2024, the company recorded a loss of $9.7 million. This from a company that was recording a profit of $34 million as recently as 2021. And what's the cause of the sharp downturn? Well, the chairman says it's driven by heat and supply constraints in Mexico, which led to a year of extreme volatility when it comes to the cost of power. He notes that in the wildly unpredictable 2024 fiscal year, the company earned the most money in any single month and lost the most money in any single month. In his message to shareholders, Marshall X says the company must educate customers to make informed energy choices. But meanwhile, the volatility continues and the company is already $16 million in the red this year. And while the power company is going through difficulties, the sugar industry is having its worst year in more than a decade. Last night we told you about the dire projections for the upcoming sugarcane season and how the Minister of Agriculture has stepped up to the plate. Even though he had been stripped of the sugar portfolio at the start of the government's second term, at a sugar symposium today, he addressed the cane farmers with the truth. The sugar season will be scary, he explained to our colleagues at CTV3 what they're faced with.
We have to be very sincere with the farmers, stakeholders, as to where we are with the industry. And we're not in a very good place. We're in a very sad state right now. In a such a state that we don't know the outcome of next year. The crop is winding down. If you look at the weather, I think we have 2 days of rainfall, and that's it for the crop. It's over. So we will end up with, 825, maybe 835, maybe the most is 140,000 tons of sugarcane, which is a drop of 120,000 tons compared to last year. We will be short of 23,000 tons of sugar. We will be short of $53 million this year. And so it is not a good place to be. Now, what does this mean? People say it's only numbers. No, these numbers have serious implications. Taking into consideration also that the price of sugar has gone down. The last estimate to farmers is at $54. Compared to last year, it was $87. It's already a significant drop in the price. So what does this mean? Well, if you look at the fields out there and you have a very keen eye, you would note that 60% to 70% of the cane fields are yellowing, showing signs of chlorosis or chlorotic leaf, as the technicians refer to it. It means that these fields are infected with the Fusarium fungus already. And during the rainy weather, since this is a fungus and it spreads by spores, rainfall will spread the fungus even further to fields who do not have it, that do not have it right now. Those that have it right now will yield less next year. And those that don't have it right now will have the fungus by the time the crop is ready to open. So if we are at 830,000 tons today, which is a drop from 120,000 tons, next year we may have a drop of 200,000 tons. So we may end up somewhere between 550 and 600,000 tons. Okay.
But Mai says they will not let the sugar industry go the way of the citrus industry. He explained there is some funding, not much, but enough to chart a way forward.
The ministry has acted proactively, and we have made allocations through the CRESAP, the World Bank's CRESAP project, $2 million. We have another 500,000 from Capital 2, which we have at the Ministry of Agriculture, which will make available for the programs recommended by CIRDI. No, 500,000 is not a lot of money, but it's a start. We hope to get more resources in the near future, and we've also received another $100,000 from ICA, from the Hemispheric Fund for disaster due to climate change. And we also have an additional fund that we'll use to obtain seeds of resistant varieties and tolerant varieties. So while we're working with biological control to control the fungus, we're also working at doing sustainable practices with the $500,000, and we have another set amount for seeds, multiplying seeds that are known to be tolerant or resistant to the disease. There are 5,000 cane farmers. That's 5,000 families. So that's what, if you have 5,000 cane farmers and they have a wife and family, you're talking about 20,000 people, plus the workers and those who depend. You're talking about 35,000, 40,000 people. We cannot allow this industry to go down. If you look at the mill employs 300 people? That's 300 families. Right? And so we look at this, we take this very seriously. If there are those who believe that the mill can survive without the cane farmers, they're mistaken. And the cane farmers cannot survive without the mill. So we are joined at the hip. And so everything we do from this day onward has to be in the right, positive direction.
And if it isn't tough enough to keep the sugar industry afloat, the ministry also has its hands full with trying to control screwworm infestations without the use of sterile male flies, which is normally used to eradicate the pest. Mai says there are currently a little over 100 cases. He also added that for now, the Mexican exportation market is still secure.
Screwworms continue to spread in the country. We continue to have cases, not as much as are spread in Mexico. Mexico has close to 2,000 cases, I think, and they were infected 1 month before us. We have no sterile flies dispersed in the country to control screwworms, but we have to close. I think we're close to 120 cases, somewhere around there. But people are still on the ground doing farm visits, treating animals, visiting farm to farm. Of course, the resources are getting scarce because it's a very expensive operation, but we are doing fine. So far, our markets are still secure in Mexico, and we hope that continues. From all our negotiations in Mexico, Mexico is saying, no, you are welcome to export to us once your animals are clean, the inspections are done, we meet the protocols. And so we are trying very much to try to keep it out of the area where we export cattle from. But the time will come that we will find cases nearby, but we are doing everything that is in the books that they have asked of us.
For weeks now, we've been reporting on those security contracts awarded to favored companies by the Belize Airports Authority. The contracts were unlawfully awarded and have now been cancelled, but these types of arrangements are not uncommon across statutory boards populated by PUDP personalities whose only qualification sometimes is being a faithful member of the ruling party. So, does the persistent appearance of bloated contracts like these speak to the need for a public procurement law where there would be required reporting to Parliament? Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, Chris Coy, has long pushed to centralize procurements, but he said the Belize Airports Authority would not be covered by that.
I think in terms of the Airport Authority matter, my understanding is that has been addressed at the level of the Belize Airport Authority. That is not, strictly speaking, a central government issue. But in terms of what you referred to at the beginning about centralized procurement, I 100% endorse a process of centralizing procurement. It does take a lot of effort. I think we at that level we are in the process of completing the draft procurement law that looks to accomplish that. We will have to then take that to Cabinet for consideration and ultimately approval. But that definitely, I think, is a way of managing central government's finances in an efficient way. Belize Airport Authority, unfortunately, would still not come under that because it's a separate statutory body. So it is important that they still maintain appropriate procurement procedures and policies.
And speaking on another matter of public interest, when we brought up his colleague Osman Martinez, who is under scrutiny for disbursing contract payments which were later flagged as having insufficient source of funds, Koi, who operates at the highest level of finance, claimed he had little to no knowledge on the incident.
I am not familiar with the particulars of what you raise, but I do believe that the minister has spoken on it, and I would leave it at that. I can't speak to something I don't know about. I can't speak for the Central Bank nor the Financial Intelligence Unit. You'd have to speak with them. But I understood that this was an audit being done at the level of the credit union, not the Central Bank nor the FIU.
Reliable reports say those suspicious transactions also got the attention of the Central Bank and the FIU. The Ministry of Finance has since shown us the source of funds for those contracts, but questions persist. For almost 3 years, Gerald Henry has gone to work at the Office of the Auditor General to do little to nothing. Henry, who is a qualified auditor, believes that this is one of the punitive ways that he is being targeted. The reason? Well, he says, it's mainly due to not wanting to sign a single document. Henry and his former co-worker, Dorette Obermeyer, were the last remaining auditors who refused to sign onto ISSAI's Code of Conduct's ethics, that is, back in 2015. Because of this, they had been missing out on promotions and increments. Now, while Obermeyer is no longer employed with the office, Henry says he is still facing victimization. Today, they held a press conference to explain why they chose not to sign the document. Courtney Menzies was there and has this story.
Imagine going to work but not having any tasks, any promotions, any increments, or any chance of moving up the ladder. That's what former PSU President Gerald Henry has been dealing with for years at the Office of the Auditor General. He and a former auditor, Dorothy Obermeyer, explained that they have been experiencing persecution and victimization at the hands of those who rank above them.
I have not received any increments from shortly after I was assigned to be a member of Mrs. Rodriguez's section because my appraisals took a nose dive from scores of over 8 and above, which is above average, to less than 5, which is below average. And then when I did not get upset because the grades fell to below 5, I got less than 3, which is actually poor, in the category of poor. So I could not receive any increments. I was also assigned to enter yes or no on a spreadsheet for months, which shockingly probably made the most use of my master's degree and many years of experience since I achieved the degree. I was given numerous letters for trivial issues more frequently than I used to write to my pen pal growing up.
But why is this happening? Well, the Office of the Auditor General issued a release last week following a 2-month protest that Henry and Obermeyer held on June 9th, stating that they were deemed an audit risk because they did not want to sign the Code of Ethics in accordance with International Standards for Supreme Audit Institutions 130. And during this morning's press conference, Obermeyer explained why they believe the document should not be used at all.
First of all, this document that they are forcing officers to sign is, 1, an international document that has absolutely nothing to do with GOB, the Government of Belize, and the Office of the Auditor General. 2, the Government of Belize never signed onto this document. According to a letter from the Office of the Auditor General, it was adopted by a former Auditor General upon attending a Caribbean Organization of Supreme Audit Institutions, CAROSI, event where he signed and agreed to adopt the International Standards for Supreme Audit Institutions, ISIS. The Government of Belize was never aware of an Auditor General adopted and ratified an international standard was never tabled in the House of Representatives. 2 officers who refused to sign the Code of Ethics were taken to the Public Service Commission. The first time it was a supervisor of audit. The Public Service Commission had never heard nor seen such a document, so they had no choice but to throw out the case, stating that this document has no validity within the public service. It is evident that the Belize Constitution Public Service Regulations 2014 comprehensively addresses the principles and standards outlined in ISI 130, Code of Ethics issued by Intosai. As such, the people in authority should find the application of ISI 130 redundant within the context of Belize's existing regulatory framework.
But that's not the only reason why they didn't sign it. And one signature has meant that for almost 3 years, they have been going to work but not given anything to do.
The reason why we didn't sign it is because in addition to what we showed there, there was an additional part to it, and we have been trying to get our hands back on it, and I don't think we have been able to get it. Or you have it, says, where it speaks to discipline, right? And that part was the dangerous part for us. You understand? Because that part basically said that the office can discipline us at any time for any reason that they want. And not only that, but we could be disciplined by the Institute of Chartered Accountants, which is a private body. So we could not sign on to something like that. As you can see, it has for completed activities for the entire week. And of course, the activity was not to do anything. So it was not applicable for us because you said not to do any work, right? So there were no activities. And the only activity was on Friday because the report was due on a Friday. So the only activity that we had in this report was to prepare and submit the weekly report. Then they asked us to give ongoing activities, which again, you told me not to do anything, so there's no ongoing activity. Again, that is not applicable. And then they asked us to do challenges and setbacks to doing nothing. Wow, I didn't have any challenge setback to do nothing at all, and so that was not applicable.
And now they find themselves with nowhere else to turn, since not even the Ministry of the Public Service can intervene.
In this letter, you can see that they are responding to the three of us, right? It comes from Ministry of the Public Service, responding to the three of us. And basically, in this letter, they are stating to us that there's a new Auditor General who has recently been appointed to the office of the Auditor General. And it says, you are therefore advised to first address these matters with the new Auditor General, as this is the proper procedure before intervening any intervention by the Ministry of the Public Service. Now they're asking us to go to the same person who is oppressing us to try to get some relief.
And that's why they came to the media, to hope that the persecution can end, and in Henry's case, he can be given promotions and increments he is deserving of. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
The release from the Office of the Auditor General states that, quote, current management has re-engaged one of the officers and has accepted the audit risk. The officer has been assigned to a team to conduct that is audit work. This was done in good faith and in hopes that his appraisal improves, end quote. They added that in the case of Obermeyer, there are no pending matters with her and her pension benefits have been calculated. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll tell you why a trade mission from Trinidad is in Belize, and we'll talk to Kim Barrow at the Cancer Society's AGM. Don't go away.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Minister Osman Martinez, we know you signed contracts worth millions of dollars. But right now, the contract that Belizean taxpayers want you to explain is this one, for this hospital in Danguga. Minister Martinez, please stop hiding behind contracts to phantom companies and tell the Belizean people, how is it that this fence was already built by the first week of March when, according to you, the contract was signed in the middle of March? The contract you showed us is for roof and drain repairs, valued at $48,000, not for a fence more than $100,000. Where is the real contract for this fence? Where did the money come from? What was the value of that contract? To whom was that contract given? Was he or she qualified to get that contract? Minister Martinez, awarding bloated contracts to special friends, but the teachers can't get paid.
I have signed, I don't know how much millions of dollars as a CU.
This is one good thought by the MIDH and the government of Belize. This, as I said, this will make any citizen proud.
I don't know if I want to cry, if I want to laugh, if I want to scream, but I definitely feel real good right now. Yes, I'm well.
It's a different feeling knowing that you're expecting something and actually standing in the house. So for that, I'm much grateful.
I'm a mother of 5 and teaching for 23 years, a baby with special needs. You know, owning my own house is a dream come true for me.
I'm just a caretaker, right? This is not mine, you know. It's something that I have to hand down and pass down. I have to build on it, improve it, so that whenever it reaches into the correct hands, then, you know, they can work on that.
It's very hard, especially as mothers, or I'm going to say as small people in the workforce, to actually go in, get a mortgage to build a house. And so the starter homes, I think, brilliant idea.
And the beauty of this is that it's a concrete, ferro-concrete starter home that you can build on.
Wish we could do this every day. Every day would be a great day. In a lot of ways, this is the government at its best. It's social justice at its finest.
At a time when tourism figures have fallen because of global uncertainty, union leaders choose to threaten tourism even more by threatening the operations of the international airport. That isn't a move to benefit the teachers and public officers. That is a UDP political plan, because any unrest in the country benefits the UDP, not public officers and teachers. Hurting the economy and affecting our people's job security will not benefit public officers and teachers. The UDP doesn't want any of this resolved. They want civil unrest, because for them, this is all political, and they are desperate. If the negotiations continue, there will be a resolution. There always is. And if there is civil unrest, there will be no resolution, and nothing for public officers and teachers. In that scenario, nobody wins but the UDP. Remember that.
Welcome to Atlantic Online. In this step-by-step video, we will show you how to unlock your user. Click Unlock User on the personal login page. Enter your username, then click Send OTP. You will receive a 6-digit one-time password, OTP, via email and SMS. The OTP is valid for 5 minutes. Do not share this OTP with anyone. Enter the OTP, then click Unlock. If you did not receive the OTP, click Resend OTP. And if you still do not receive the OTP, please visit your nearest branch. Your account has now been unlocked successfully, and you can now log in. For more step-by-step videos, view our Atlantic Online playlist on YouTube to learn how to perform your banking transactions. Bank your way with any of our digital channels and save time for what matters most.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The total span of the entire structure is approximately 25 meters, and it also has an overall width of 12.5 meters, which includes 2 lanes and also 2 pedestrian footpaths of 2 meters each. The design span for this bridge is basically 75 to 100 years, so that's the expectation of its life.
It's $2.4 million to complete the bridge, and we also did the boat ramp. We had to incur a little bit additional expense because we did the pontoon to be able to allow the residents to be able to cross while we are building. Infrastructure is one of the key elements for economic development. It allows people to generate more income. It does so many things. It will open the whole area for free flow of traffic. It gives you safety. And we are allowing, because of the height of the bridge, we are allowing now traffic of boats underneath. It will enhance the tourism product. It betters the quality of life of the neighborhood. And that's what we want to do. We are here to serve the people, and these projects is a symbol of that.
It's good, I would say good, and people will be happy to see a new bridge.
I'm very, very elated that this bridge has finally been realized for the people of the change. A lot will move better, will move faster, and some people might even stop and take pictures because they're a pretty bridge, they're a nice bridge. I like the bridge.
From the minute I heard about it, something that I personally wanted done. This is a welcome news for Punta Gorda.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
A trade mission organized by the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce is in the country. The representatives are here to connect with local businesses, particularly in the food and beverage, construction, tourism, manufacturing, and professional services sectors. Their goal is to strengthen its trade ties between Belize and Trinidad and Tobago. Jo Marie Lanza was at the Fort George 3 House, and here's her report.
They'll be in Belize for the next few days, aiming to strengthen trade ties between the two countries. The Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce signed an agreement of perpetuity with the Belize Chamber of Commerce and the Belize Coalition of Services Industries as part of their trade action plan. The president for Trinidad and Tobago's Chamber of Industry and Commerce told us they want to connect with key stakeholders, buyers, and distributors in Belize.
So today is the first day of our 3-day trade and investment mission in Belize, and today was our opening ceremony where the delegates had the opportunity to meet with the ministry and the official parts of your administration that deal with trade and investment. Following this opening ceremony, we are actually going to go into our business-to-business meetings, where through our counterpart, the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, they were able to partner linkages with business persons who would be paired with our delegates and further discussions on where we see trade and investment opportunities. What we're looking for as an outcome of this mission is to solidify the CARICOM and single market and economy, where we could forge alliances and promote regional and economic trade between our islands and within CARICOM, because we really believe, as your minister said, that there is greater resilience in shared and collaborations between the countries within CARICOM. And we really think that these alliances today will give us that resilience that we require to deal with global changes and shocks and forge our community, which is the CARICOM community, to be a strong economic partner in the global environment.
Their CEO also shared that their main trade interests lie in agriculture and the orange economy.
The idea behind this is to deepen relationships between CARICOM countries in terms of this accelerate the pace of the CSME, given that everything that is happening globally. So there are opportunities that we have identified within the agricultural sector, definitely within the creative or the orange economy. So those are sustainable projects that we are looking forward to, and we have identified firms, members on our side that not only can expand into the Belizean market but also form partnerships. One of the big things that is going to happen today is that we're going to be signing what we call a trade and business alliance agreement with two of your core business support organizations, and that's the Belize Coalition of Services Industries and the Belize Chamber of Commerce. So what does this mean? It's not an agreement that will sit on a shelf. The difference here is to deepen relations so that we would have an action plan, a structured action plan over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, common mutual areas of focus. Let's say sharing of market intelligence, building basically a community of exporters.
The Minister of State and the Ministry of Finance also attended today's event in support of this partnership between the CARICOM nations for trade.
First that I am aware of, I'm not sure that there was any before, but it's a good start. I think it was referred to earlier in the presentations. I think we exported, I think the number was around $97 million last year to Trinidad, and we import quite a bit less, but the opportunity is there for increased trade among both countries.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
The Belize Cancer Society held its annual general meeting today at the Inspiration Center, where it unveiled its strategic plan for the next 5 years. As they reflected on their accomplishments, we asked their president what they hope to achieve through this new strategic plan.
First off, the annual general meeting, we really focused on what we have accomplished and where we want to go, which really ties into our strategic plan for the next 5 years. And one of the main focus that we want to do is we really want to focus on prevention and healthy living. It's so very important that we start targeting or looking at our younger generation and educating them on living healthier lives. We know that when you're diagnosed with cancer at the early stage, it's easily treatable than when you're diagnosed at a late stage. And so that is our focus. We, of course, want to continue our partnerships with the Government of Belize, Ministry of Health and Wellness. We want to continue our partnerships with all our organizations that we work with, and of course with the community. It's important that we continue to access not just local partnerships, but international partnerships. Why? Because with international partnerships, we get access to training, we get access to equipment, we get access to helping our healthcare providers be more effective and efficient in diagnosing cancer and in the quickness of getting our cancer patients to care.
The Israeli-Iran war is in its 6th day, and as the conflict escalates, oil prices are expected to climb. And while the price per barrel is currently hovering around $75, in early May it was at $57, with hardly any discernible change in the pump price here in Belize. We asked the Minister of State and the Ministry of Finance why Belize's pump prices haven't reflected changes in global market rates. He explained the reasons behind the disparity.
I think in terms of fuel, there are shifts upwards and downwards. And with respect to the fuel and the tax revenues from fuel, that is adjusted having regard to those changes in fuel prices. But at the same time, the government does have to generate tax revenues to pay for all the expenses, including the proposed salary increases.
also asked COE for the status on the trade tariffs imposed by the U.S. months ago. The 90-day period is soon set to expire, and according to COE, they've been told to wait it out. He explained what that meant.
What I understood in discussions with U.S. government officials was basically that we hold off until July. We basically sit tight until July as that 90-day period expires. That 90-day period was to provide an opportunity for the U.S. really to negotiate and seek to conclude arrangements with their main trading partners, the top 20 trading partners. Belize, or even Belize as a part of CARICOM, or the entirety of CARICOM, actually does not rise to the level of that top 20. So when that time comes, I believe it will be more a discussion between the U.S. and CARICOM, more so than just U.S. and Belize.
And with that, we end our newscast for tonight. Thanks for watching. With you on News, I'm Indra Craig. Remember to join us back here tomorrow at 6. Have a great evening.